I love Jets fans. You name one other organization that deals with the shit that we deal with and is still this passionate. Sure, you got the little segments, the dog pound. But look at the Patriots fans. They just had 20 years of there are kids, there are 20, 21-year-old, 25-year-old people in this world that are Patriots fans who have never known losing. Never in their entire lifetime. They were born into this Belichick-Brady thing, and they have consistently won. They've won 6 Super Bowls. They've been to 9 or whatever it is. And then when they didn't get in there, they were the AFC Championship game or the semifinals or whatever. And what happens the year that Tom Brady leaves? Dude, you have droves of people leaving the Patriots. These are diehard Pats fans. This is what they have. Diehard Pats fans going to be Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans. Why? Because I'm a fucking fan of Tom Brady. Bullshit. What is that? Have we ever seen such a large collection of guys hanging out together outside? The last time we really saw that was when Jumbo Elliott, Jason Fabini, and Matt O'Dwyer absolutely tore up that bar. Remember that? They got arrested. They beat the hell out of everybody, the bouncers. Remember that? Didn't O'Dwyer like rip the sink out of the wall or something like that? After that, they're like, hey, why don't we not let offensive linemen hang out? That's why they brought George Fant with them. They're like, George Fant is known to be a cool dude. He's calm. He's respectful. He's like the adult. He was the escort for that one. You can't let Dan Feeney out in public. You see him down in the beer, banging beer cans on his head. That guy needs to be watched. He does. He needs to be watched. You got to bring the parents with that guy. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Dan Feeney Fan Club headquarters, where all of your Dan Feeney needs will be met. Speak freely about our favorite offensive lineman, a future All-Pro, and at bare minimum, a funny damn guy, and the guy I'm glad to have around, man. What's happening? It's good to see you guys. Jeremy Cravat's here. What's up, buddy? Raul Berrios, very nice. Eric Craig, Markopoulos is back. Mitt Flair, what's up, guys? Edward Ziff, good to see you. Scott Wilson. Yeah, man. It's nice to have you guys here, man. Watu K99, Libertarian, Tom Bon Jovi. You guys are the best. Look, Holton's back. Fantastic. Fantastic. Jack Oliveri. The 100 Club. Ooh, that sounds good. We got to talk about that a little bit tonight. I don't know what that is. The 100 Club. Maybe we can figure out what that is, huh? Yeah, man. This is good. James Seberka. I say that right, James? Jeff Davies. He was first. Jeff Davies gets first. So speaking of first, how's the internet? That was why I was a couple minutes late, because I was trying to figure it all out and get the what looks like the top internet at where I am now in Maine to work. So I had to reboot it. As soon as I turned it on, it said, hey, by the way, we're going to do a big, long update for you without choice. So that's what I was waiting for. So how am I looking? Looking good? Thanks, James. Nice, nice. This is good. This is good. Oh, Bill Liebold. What's up, man? That's funny. I'm sketchy. It's good enough. Okay. It's not sharp, but I'm good. Okay. So is the sound usually, even when my video is not that good, the sound is good, right? Can you guys have the sound? I'm shutting off all my final little RAM meters here too. Okay. Well, that sucks. So I'm in, you guys ever heard of a town called Ogunquit? Ogunquit, Maine. That's where I am, right on the ocean, man. It's crazy, but I'll tell you, the internet's it's really good. Like everything, it's weird. I have like good download speed, so I can stream and everything. You know, like as far as like Netflix and all that. But as far as upload, I can't get anything. And I tell you guys all the time, I have T-Mobile, I have Cricket, I have AT&T, I have 3 different versions of Verizon, I have like the Wi-Fi, I have the hotspot, and all of them are fantastic download speeds and uploads. The best I can get is 7 megabytes per second. That's it. That's what I'm using now. So what you're seeing is 7 megabytes per second in the Dan Feeney fan club. What do you guys think of Dan Feeney, huh? Are you not in love with this guy? I think he might be. The other night, it's real fun in games, but you guys know I'm a really hard drinker for a long time, right? Really hard, like bad. Okay. And sometimes you look at guys and you think this or that, and then you look at somebody and you go, that guy might be an issue. Dan Feeney, the other night when he banged the cans on his head, I thought to myself, okay, Dan, we might need to watch Dan Feeney. Okay. You might need to not let him hang out with Zach Wilson. You know what I mean? Don't let those guys bunk. If Dan Feeney's with Zach, somebody else should always be there. You with me? So quickly, let me interrupt that diatribe. We'll talk about Dan Feeney all night, but I wanted to thank Edward Ziff. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. Joe D is adding so much depth at all positions. Tell me what you think. Well, I couldn't agree more, man. I love it. I'm interested to see what happens with Morgan Moses. In my most recent podcast, I talked about it a little bit, and I found it difficult to see Morgan Moses signing with us because I think that he can go somewhere and be the written in starter. I really do. I think that he's still playing at that level, and I think that he can say that. He can say, "Look, man, if I'm signing here, I want to know I'm the starter." He can do that. I don't know the Jets are going to do that. So if he signs with us, it's going to be one of a couple things. One is Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh are masters in just, motivating people and getting them to believe in what they're doing and all that sort of stuff. So that would be one thing. But I don't know how much they talk with the player once, when they're in negotiations. It's more agents and all that sort of stuff a lot of the time. But the other thing is if he's told – well, if he's going to other places and no one's letting them know, you're the starter, it's all going to be competition. Look, you'll have as good of a shot to start as the other guy, but we're going to have a real competition. If you beat him, you beat him. If everybody's doing that, I could see him signing with the Jets because that's what I think that they're doing with him. I don't think they're going to bring him in and say, you're the starter. I struggle with that idea. Now, we've heard stories about, maybe they'll move George Fant inside to guard. I guess that's possible, but it's something that he's never done. So I don't know. I don't know how willing they're going to want to do that because then you got guys like Cam Clark and Van Roten and all that sort of stuff. Then there's a competition. And then we have a guy like George Fant who is good. He's a good player. Maybe he gets bumped down and the next thing he's not playing. And in my opinion, he's probably one of the best offensive linemen. I think he's one of the best 5. So I don't know. I think it can muddy the water. But the thing I do like about it, Ed, is that it's competition. Competition. You guys all heard about the Denzel Mims comments with Keelan Cole being, ahead of him on the depth chart at OTAs. It's like, dude, it doesn't mean anything. Right? It doesn't. But it does mean a little bit, right? It's nothing to get nervous about or anything. But what I like about it is that it's showing this. Denzel Mims was a premium draft pick last year with a first-round grade similar to Elijah Moore. He was a guy with a first-round grade who slipped a little bit, and we got him in the second. Okay? So they're similar capacities. Denzel Mims was obviously a little bit further down at 59, and Elijah Moore was 34. So when you look at a guy like that, so we've put we used a premium piece of draft capital to acquire him. Last year he was injured and all that. So you could see that there may be pressure for Joe Douglas to have his guy start, right? So the thing that I like about it is it looks to me like even if Denzel Mims was equal to Keelan Cole right now, They're saying, no, dude, you have to earn your spot. And that to me is a positive, because you look, Corey Davis isn't participating because of the shoulder thing that he has. You got Jamison Crowder, who's out with a contract dispute. So you have Denzel Mims, Keelan Cole, Elijah Moore, Berrios, and the Smiths, right? The Smith brothers. So even with all that going on, two guys are not there. Denzel Mims is still working with the seconds. I think that's because of competition and the way that they're running it. So I think, Ed, what we're seeing is depth all over the place. Those two positions that I just talked about, the offensive line and the wide receiver group, what have we been talking about the last 2 years as the weakest pieces of our team? We have no weapons and we have no protection for the quarterback. So I think I think it's an incredible positive, man. And I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Did you guys see that we signed the Falcons safety? What's his name? Neese? I'll admit that I don't know much about this guy, except that he was a starter. He played and he participated in all 16 games. So that would say that he has the ability to remain healthy. I don't think they're bringing him in to start, but I think they're bringing him in to compete with like the LaMarcus Joyners of the world. So that's the other thing. LaMarcus Joyner, with all due respect to him, signing him in free agency and then telling him, he's the starter, I don't know if that's a good idea. I think it should be more of a competition. I'd like to see him and Ashton Davis and May and all those guys compete for the spots. And I think that's what we've had an inability to do over the past 10 years, is that when we signed a guy, there was nobody else. So if we signed a free agent, he was starting. If we drafted somebody in the first three rounds, he was starting, right? That's just the way it went, because we didn't have anybody. The only places that you would see a little bit of that not happening is on the defensive line. A lot of times we tend to have guys, a lot of guys for the defensive line. Even if they weren't all that great at times, we still had a lot of beef for that position. So, but yeah, man, I'm psyched about it, dude. I think Joe Douglas is building this team the exact way, even if not the exact players and all that, but the same way that I have been hoping that they would do it for a long time. Complete teardown, detach emotionally from the guys that you like but that never produce, get rid of them, or bring in competition for them, and then and get the team young. Flip guys for draft capital. That's been my whole thing, man. If a guy has value and we're a losing team and he's not like the guy that's, winning you games or whatever like that, fucking flip him, man. Get draft capital and build a young team. That's what I want. So I think it's awesome, man. I really do. And thank you. Let's see what else you guys got. I know. I saw that, Frank. How funny is that? And it just shows like how detached a lot of these organizations that we look at for like a firm foundation for statistics and opinions and all that. A lot of time they don't really know. And yeah, I guess it's hard. You have 32 teams, you have 53 guys. And right now you have like 90 guys on each team. So 90 times 32. And then you have all the other guys, the free agents. So it's like to keep track of all that. I guess it's not easy. I can barely keep track of our guys. You know what I mean? So, but it's funny when you see that Dan Feeney is our starting center. I find that ridiculous. So, I mean, hey, if he's here to compete with McGovern, ain't nothing wrong with that. Push him. Let McGovern know he's got a crazy maniac behind him. And if I remember correctly, Dan Feeney stays healthy, doesn't he? I'm pretty sure he stays healthy. He has a lot of issues doing that thing. What is it? Blocking. Yeah, that's his big issue. Other than that, fucking guy's great. So Jeremy says, is Keelan Cole going to beat out Mims? I don't think so. I think that there's going to be a nice rotation of guys, and I think that for specific designs, they're going to have different guys that can do different things on different parts of the field. But I think Denzel Mims is going to be our clear-cut number 2 outside receiver. when this is all said and done. But again, man, if Keelan Cole pushes him all through training camp, Keelan Cole's not here to just sit back and take his fifth wide receiver role, which is what you like about the guy. You know, I bugged out on Keelan Cole when we first signed him because, like, outside of knowing that he exists, I can't tell you that I know a whole bunch about him. I didn't watch the third wide receiver in Jacksonville. That's not the guy I was digging into, you know? So I really bugged out on him, man. And the guy is something else. I mean, he's incredibly talented. You know, so if he beats out Mims, then he beats out Mims. But I just don't think it's going to happen. And if Mims needs another year, like if he's the third wide receiver and he comes in and he gets 48 catches for 500 yards, whatever, you know what I mean? And that's what he does. But we're winning, and next year he kind of develops and wins it out. That's fine too. Mims is young, but I don't know. I'm really high on Mims. I love his size. I love his speed. I love his hands, man. And let me tell you, he's got all these. Everybody talks about his route running, man. I saw entire breakdowns of his route running. It's not bad by any stretch. He can lose defenders on a regular basis. You know, he's a little sloppy, but it's not a bad. It's just like when you find a weakness in someone's game, that's where it is for him. But he's a fierce blocker. I love Mims, man. You know, what's up, Big Green? What's up, buddy?
Mims is awesome.
And Mims is awesome. Thank you. I agree. Yeah. It's Teen Bean. He said, Mims is awesome. What is this? What are you guys talking about? All right, let's see what else you guys got. Let's see. Eagle Fang, what's up, buddy? Get my Bob. What's up, guys? That's right. Competition plus special teams, Frank. That's the other thing, lad. That's why when we remember last year, like we were talking about, or maybe towards the end of the season, like retaining Perine and making him like the fourth or fifth wide receiver. And that's when those ideas aren't very good. It's like, yes, Perriman's a talented receiver. He is. But he never stays healthy. So you can't have a guy who never stays healthy as your fourth wide receiver, because fourth and fifth and sixth wide receivers, they need to play specials. They need to. Like, those are the guys that are filling out the special teams, the backups. So when you have guys that are effective in a rotational type of a role, a reserve role, and then can play specials, that's the guy that wins the roster spot. Brashad Perriman as a fourth wide receiver, I think that's a big mistake, because then you got a hole on special teams. Special teams is just as important as anything else. You guys know it, man. How many times have you seen, a game's really great, and then all of a sudden somebody runs back a damn punt or a kickoff, and in 1 second the game's flipped. It's rarely for us. It has happened. Remember Chad Morton and Leon? Let's see what else we got. Let's see what Eagle Fang's talking about. Hey, GreenBean, what's up, buddy? I'm going to focus on what I see in the preseason and regular season. All the noise means nothing if I can't see and judge for myself, but I hope Zach does win Rookie of the Year. Hell yeah. I couldn't agree more, man. It's like, look, this time of year, and this isn't even the dead time of year. I mean, you see how slow it's gotten, right? But this isn't even the dead time yet. That's coming in a little bit. We're going to have a period of time, 40-something days, where we don't hear anything. There's nothing going on. The team isn't allowed contact with the players and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to have a period of time where we don't hear anything. So right now, what's happening is that anything going on, the press, when they're allowed in, they're going to try to create 10 stories out of what they see. And as we know, they're all running around in shorts and T-shirts. But I tell you what isn't the narrative that Zach Wilson looks really good, not just for a rookie, like Connor, you said. He said he doesn't look good for a rookie. He looks good. Like, he looks good. It's not like, he's making some rookie mistakes. Like, no, he looks good as a quarterback. Isn't the narrative better that Zach Wilson looks good than, hey, it's only OTAs, it's okay that he's struggling or that he's a rookie, and that would all be fine. That wouldn't mean much either. But isn't it better that he's coming out of the gate, he's got his nose in the playbook, he's asking for more, He's impressing the coaching staff. He's hanging out with his offensive linemen and wide receivers on a regular basis, and he's lighting it up in practice. Like it is what it is. You keep it compartmentalized, man. You keep it right where it belongs. It doesn't mean, anything other than it's a good start. Ain't nothing wrong with a good start. Nothing wrong with a good start. And I got to tell you, I got into a little Twitter thing last night. Not even a thing, but just a little conversation. Somebody said, I don't want to see Zach Wilson hanging out all night. I would rather him be home studying the playbook. And one of the things that, number one, I disagreed with it, but I get it. I do. I get it. But it's like, for me, I think all this camaraderie and the guys all hanging out, dude, that's by design. I wouldn't be surprised to find out Saleh bought the tickets. You know what I mean? And like said, hey, guys, tonight, this is what you're doing, kind of a thing. Or at minimum, encouraged it. Do you know how valuable it is for these guys to actually get to know each other on a personal level and like each other and just kind of have extra time to value each other as people? It's an incredibly important aspect of all this. Like, we have a young team that most of our team were elsewhere last year. A lot of them were in college. Obviously, we have the free agents. And even beyond that, the rest of the team is most of them were last year's acquisitions. So we have the larger sum of our team is only here a year or 2 years. Dude, gel. All of our focus should be on installing our playbooks, like, because we have new coaching staff, like getting the guys acclimated to our playbooks and our vernacular and all that. And the second most important thing is these guys need to build chemistry, camaraderie. They need to like each other. They need to believe in each other. They need to know each other. And that's the most important thing, man. I fucking love what I'm seeing as far as that. Dude, Robert Saleh gave an interview. What was that, today or yesterday? My days smear together. In an Islanders jersey. He did his press availability in an Islanders. What do you think he's doing there? You think he's dumb? He's trying to sorry, there I go. My back. Yeah. So he's trying to he's trying to let the fans know that he gets it. He's trying to get his team to get it. There are intangible aspects to this whole thing. It's not just like, how fast do you run, kid? Oh, I run a 4.32 40. Oh, great. You're our guy. There's more to it. What do you think about what Brant Boyer said about Michael Carter and Elijah Moore today? He said, They're at the facility at 6:30 a.m. They beat everybody. They're the first two guys there every single day, and they're sucking it all in. So what, you think that's by accident? This is the stuff like when Joe Douglas is out there drafting team captains and those types of guys. This is the result. You got guys with incredible work ethic. Like, look at the contrary. Remember Rex Ryan with Quentin Coples. Quentin Coples was about as talented as, and he was a freak. He was so talented. He was so strong. He was fast. Hey, I'm live, right?
Yeah, and I also know that, I can hear you all the way down there.
Oh, yeah, I'm loud.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm loud. I'm outside.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. But so Quentin Coples, remember, we were going to choose between Coples and Ingram, and the whole thing with Coples was that he's a slouch. He's a schlub. He's the most gifted person in the draft at his position, but he's a slouch, and nobody gets 100% out of him. And Rex said, "That's my guy," because he looked at the measurables. He looked at the freak nature of his athleticism, but he didn't have it. Coples was out of the league in 5 years, man. You know what I mean? Hey, Stephen Engel, happy birthday, buddy. What's up, guy? Yay, Saul. What's up, man? E-Rock's here. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Glad to see you guys. So happy birthday, Stephen Engel. 45 years old. I thought you were a young chap. I guess you are. What do they say? 40 is the old age of youth, but 50 is the youth of old age, right? So you still got a young period coming up. 40s and 50s are awesome, I hear. It's when you no longer give a shit what anybody thinks. You got a little money. You're like, screw this. I'm doing what I want to do. You know what I mean? Like when you're young, your 20s and shit. It's like you have youth, you have all the energy in the world, all that good stuff, but it's like you're all worried about everybody else. You know? So happy birthday, bud. I'm glad you came here to celebrate that with us. You doing anything fun? What are you guys talking about? Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, and don't misunderstand me about Rex. Like you guys know, I'm a Rex fan, you know, and I loved a lot of what Rex brought. Those 2 years were the best 2 years of being a Jets fan, man, in my life. You know, I mean, I loved the Chad era, the beginning of it. I had a really good time during the Parcells years, but we only had really one good year with Parcells. I mean, we had the 9-7 first year, but we didn't get to the playoffs. And then we were 12-4, won the division, went to the AFC Championship game. Then the next year we were 8-8, and then he left because of the Testaverde injury and all that Rick Meyer stuff, remember? But so, you know, we had some good years. Hermy years were pretty good too. They were, for the most part. But, you know, there was a whole different mentality. You know, like, look, the Rex experiment ended because of the same kind of a thing, letting guys like Brad Smith and Sean Ellis and all the, you know, Jericho Cotchery and on and on and on go, and bringing in guys like Plaxico Burress, elevating guys like Santonio Holmes. It's a whole different thing. It's a whole different mentality, you know? So I'm not trying to throw Rex. I'm not saying like that fucking guy. I'm not. But there was a different thing, and you can see why that ultimately failed. Like we were close, man. We were close, and it still pains me. Sometimes I'll bug out and watch some of that shit, and I'm like, oh, like I show my son, and I'm like, you don't know, man. This year was exciting. We were kicking everybody's ass, yelling and screaming. Everybody hated us. It was the best. But it's like, you know, this is different to me, and we don't even know if it's going to work yet, right? So there's that. But to me, it looks like it's the way that can potentially last. You know, nice pipeline guys, developing good developmental coaches, teachers, you know, like a lot of talent, a lot of draft assets to bring in young guys at premium, you know, positions. Like we're not wasting, you know, first 3 rounds on defensive tackles or tight ends, with respect to my beloved tight ends. You know, it's like we're not doing that stuff. You know, 2 defensive tackles with a top 5 pick, essentially. Leo was 6 in 4 years, or 5 years is crazy. What are we doing? We can't score. And our quarterback's getting killed. What are we doing? So what's this? Life-bertarian. I've been a BYU fan for my whole life, and Jets fan and a Jets fan my whole life. Weird to see Wilson get drafted. But is that true? Dude, what a crazy concoction this is for you then. How wonderful is that? That's wonderful. Like, good for you, man. It's like to a much lesser degree. That's how I felt when Bryce Hall was drafted by the Jets. Like, I like Bryce Hall, man. I watch UVA a little bit more than any other college. Like, I'm not I wouldn't call myself a UVA fan. I root for them. But it's like to see Bryce Hall come over. I was like, wow, we got him. I couldn't believe it. But for you, if you're an actual BYU fan and the quarterback from BYU comes to the Jets, your other team, damn, man. Good for you. Happy birthday to you. It's Stephen Engel's birthday, but you got this. That's awesome. So what's up? What's going on with James? James get married or something? Everybody's saying welcome, James. Congratulations, James. Wait, newly minted Jets hat. Jets fan here. Just bought my first Jets hat. There he is. Well, welcome, James. James is a newly minted Jets fan. You got to wonder why, don't you guys, at this point? You got to wonder what it is, James. What did it for you? I wonder. Where are you from? Give us some goodies. I'll try to keep reading it and throw you up here. But welcome. It's great. We're glad to have you, man. And thanks for popping in here. We're just hanging out, shooting the breeze, you know? So let me know where you are in all this. Like, how did it happen and all that sort of stuff. I'm very curious. So Mitt Flair says he's kind of worried about Becton long term. I'm going to be really straightforward and honest with you here. I'm not. I'm really not worried. Like, I think, like, just to be clear about plantar fasciitis, and I went into a long diatribe on it on my this week's podcast. So I've had plantar fasciitis, and it can be very, very painful, but you can get rid of it very quickly most of the time. If this was game one and this was the issue, Mekhi Becton would be starting. Like, it's not an issue, guys. It's just like, hey, he's got this thing. There's no reason to exacerbate it. Let's just rest him and we'll get him on the protocol that we want to fix it. And that's that, you know, like, that's all it really is. It's really nothing, unless they're lying to us, of course. But I can understand what people are saying. He had a few games last year that he was either, you know, taken out partially or whatever. But let's not forget the organization that we had last year too, man. They were all over the place, you know. And I don't know. Becton he started 14 or 15 games, whatever. I think he missed 2. So he started 14 games and he played at a Pro Bowl level, man. I understand. But I don't share that concern. I'm not even letting it get to me. And this is what I'll give you, Mitt Flair. 2 years ago, we were all wondering if Marcus May was going to be able to make it through a whole NFL season. Don't forget, he got injured the last game of his rookie year, and then he barely played his second year. He came in twice, and he was injured, and came in, got re-injured, and he was out for the rest of the year. And when he came back, we were all wondering if this guy can make it through a whole season. And who thinks of Marcus May as injury prone anymore? Does anybody? I don't. Do you? So Kev Chada, are you saying that plantar was painful for me for months? That's what you're saying? So you disagree with my stance on it? That's okay. But like I said, I tried all this stuff. I had went to the two separate doctors, and they told me these different things, do this, and neither one of them worked. And then I got the boot. The boot worked in 3 days, and I had it for over a year, plantar fasciitis. Once I found the boot took it away in 3 days, and I've never had it again, outside of a couple blips. But right, Kev, you know how it can feel in the morning. But get the boot. If you get the boot, you're going to be okay, buddy. You're going to be okay. So thank you, the 100 Club. You didn't tell me what the 100 Club is. We got to talk about that. You know what? I'll be honest. You know why I'm interested? Because it sounds like Mile High Club to me. That's why. I doubt that's what it is, but that's what I'm thinking anyway. So thank you. Is that a sticker? I can't see anything. If you have a question, just put it in there because I don't see it here. But I'm happy to answer a question for you later for the super chat. So thank you. Scott Wilson. What's up, Scott? Glad to see you, man. Thank you for the super chat. The Becton thing isn't plantar. It's his overall commitment to his body. Salah mentioned he wasn't doing what he needs to. Sam played more snaps. Well, I think, the comment from Salah was that Becton needs to be educated on his body, which is fucking great news to hear. Like I said, I don't see it as an issue. I think he's a young guy. He's 370 pounds. He played for all but 2 games last year. He played at a Pro Bowl level, and they're about to teach him how to take care of himself, which is the whole reason that we revamped the entire medical department. That's our whole thing. Remember what he said. He's player-specific rehabilitation and training. Player-specific. So everybody's going to have their own training regimen, which is much, much different than what we've seen. I mean, if you guys are concerned, believe me, you can be concerned. I'm just telling you, I'm not. I love all of the things we're doing, and to hear Salah say, like, I didn't take that as like Mekhi Becton's a fat slob and he's not treating himself right. It sounded to me like he doesn't really know how to do it. He's never been properly educated on how to take care of himself so he can play long term, you know? But I think that's the plantar is why he's not playing. At least that's what they said. So it'll be interesting to see. Let's say this. Here's my prediction. Mekhi Becton misses 1 game this year. That's my prediction. What do you think? You like it? Well, the shoulder injury was last year. That's the thing. The whole problem with the shoulder injury was that he had the shoulder injury and then we put him right back in. Remember? That was the whole mismanagement. Our team was out of control, ridiculous. And that was we all had problems with that. Like, why, if he has a shoulder injury, why is he coming right back in? And then he hurt it. So he had a little ding or whatever it was. It was minor. And then we put him back in early. And then he made it worse. And even with that, he only missed 2 games. But I hear you. It'll be interesting. I don't share the same fear. I think I'm really kind of high on this whole medical department thing. While I think, it's brand new, right? So we don't know. They're probably going to have their bumps in the road as well. But, I think overall we're set up for success in this area. I couldn't be more excited. Like I said in the podcast, it's like, hey man, good. I'm glad it's being addressed now instead of like, hey, week 2, oh, it turns out that we got to do this and this. They identified this right away. We're in OTAs, voluntary OTAs, man. And we're already addressing this stuff and talking about it. Like, look, he's not practicing, but I saw pictures of Mekhi Becton in Times Square this week. He's fine. He's walking around. Let's see what Holton says. I had plantar fasciitis for like 6 months, got COVID and was home and decided about that time it was ending to buy some new shoes. Literally went away 2 days after getting the shoes. Amazing. Yeah. You know what's funny? There was a place when I lived in Florida. There's a place in Coral Springs, Florida. It's called Comfy Shoes or something like that. And it's specifically like you go in there and it's like made for heavier guys or guys with not even guys, people with foot issues and everything. And like their whole gig is like, we will make your shoe so you never have a foot issue again. And I was this close to getting shoes made by them, but I got the boot because I'm telling you, I had plantar fasciitis for almost a year. And I could every single morning. It took me like, 15, 20 minutes to be able to actually walk. It was crushing. And then the boot. As soon as I got the boot, dude, I couldn't believe it. And I was taking medications, anti-inflammatories. I was rubbing creams on it. I was doing this massage, these stretches, and all this stuff. The boot, $19.99. You know what I mean? So, but I get it, Mitt. I'm with you. Am I freezing? Am I freezing? Oh, no way. Hold on. Am I back? Yeah, I mean, dude, you're literally holding up the beacon. I mean, that guy is, I mean, I'm with you. That's the best thing you can ever imagine, but he is a rare exception. Mangold was very close to that as well. You know? I'm fine. Thank you, Robert. I know. But, look, it's like, I get it, but I think realistically, especially with 17 game seasons, I can honestly tell you that my thoughts are that they're going to probably sit guys at different times. Like when they get little injuries or whatever, they're going to probably sit guys, and depth is going to be that much more important. This is a new frontier. I know it's only one game, but it's going to be interesting because longevity, so think about this. You have 3 preseason games, 17 games in the regular season. That's 20 games with one bye in there. Okay. So you have essentially 20 weeks with a week off in there. Then if you're a playoff team, let's say you're a wild card team. So you got the next week, that's 21 games. Then you win 22 games and you go to the championship game. It's 23 straight games. Super Bowl is 24 games in a row. You know what I mean? With 1 week off. So guys, I'm gonna tell you, I think it's gonna be rare to see bigger guys that don't go down a little bit, but I would love to see a guy never miss a play in his career, but I can't even think of other guys like that. Although the last 10 years or so, I think injuries are out of control. Ever since the new CBA, injuries are out of control. I know that they think that their data tells them that this is actually keeping guys healthier. I don't know how that is. I don't. I see guys going down all the time. Like, remember guys like Kyle Clifton, Mo Lewis, they never missed time. Never. When a guy was injured and missed a game, it was like an anomaly. It seemed strange. Right? Didn't it? And now it's like guys making it through the whole season are strange. It's fucking weird, man. So anyway, hey, I think you have a valid reason to be concerned. I guess hearing that they're working on it already with him, like the dietary stuff and just teaching him how to be healthy long-term, is good news to me. It's not I didn't hear that as concerning. I heard that as like, yeah, man. And then the plantar fasciitis diagnosis, I'm like, yeah, dude. Well, I know they know about the damn boot. You know what I mean? I know it. They have to. So, anywho. All right. Scott Wilson, thank you, buddy. 26 million cap space, big picture. I would let Crowder make his 10 million, even if it's overvalued, but does elevated play of Berrios make it less likely? It's funny. I was just talking about this today with somebody, Scott, and my thought was exactly that. I'm like, dude, just play. We don't even need the money. Like, look, that 26 million is a little bit of an illusion. We haven't even signed our top 3 rookies yet. So a lot of that's going to be eaten. Exactly how they carve it up, I don't know. But there's, the rookie pay scales and stuff are kind of set, so you can look at it pretty closely about what it's going to be. But so that's about, I don't know, let's say 10 million more is going to be cut off, just as a number. Okay, so you really have $16 million. But my thought is, just let Crowder play on his 10 million. Like, why rock the boat? Like, we don't even need it. But I'm thinking that maybe like there's a guy out there like a Sherman, like a Morgan Moses that they want to bring in. And they're thinking if Crowder goes down to 7.5, that gives us 2.5 million. Now we can sign Morgan Moses and Richard Sherman or something like that, just as examples. So, but I happen to agree with you, man. I'm thinking it's one thing if we need the money. It's another entirely if we don't. It's just like, why are you rocking the boat? But I think what they're looking at, man, is like, look, Crowder, nobody in your position is making $10 million across the league. It's not the going rate for slot receivers. There are guys that have produced more and are making less. So we have Corey Davis, we have Denzel Mims, we have Elijah Moore, we have Keelan Cole. So you're one of five. Let's say you're the third wide receiver. Like $10 million is more than we want to pay. And you're not guaranteed anything. Theoretically, we can cut you. So I don't know. To me, it's just one of those things. Like, I think Jamison Crowder has earned it. And I think, like, if we don't need it, like, why rock it? Why rock the boat? That's just my thought. So I tend to agree. But on your Berrios comment, I think, no. I mean, like, dude, if they're watching Berrios and they're looking at this guy and they're thinking, dude, this guy's ready to make a leap. This guy's taking a step forward this year. And yes, it does. It makes the decision to pay him more difficult. The Crowder, that is. But I don't know. I mean, Berrios, I like Berrios a whole bunch. I just don't know what his ceiling is. But hey, man, if he gets better every single year and on an offense where he's not like, he's not going to be the number one receiver. So if he's not getting all the attention or anything, maybe he's that guy that as the fourth wide receiver just lights it up. Maybe he's Pierre Garçon in Indy. Remember? Before he got signed by Washington and all that, like, he was like the third wide receiver and he was great in that role. So it's maybe that's where he's heading. So yeah, man, it's just a shame, like with this kind of stuff, because Joe Douglas, as much as we ballyhoo his decisions and moves and everything, I'm one who I happen to like most of what he's done. You look at, he has not extended a guy yet. Like, really, he did Ryan Griffin, but that's because he was on a 1-year contract. But Joe Douglas hasn't extended one of our players yet. He's working on it with Marcus May. But remember, right after the draft, he said that's our priority, and it was a month ago already. So I don't know. This is like that area where I think the optics would be improved if it was just like, just fucking pay him. You know what I mean? So. Yeah, man. But Scott, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Sincerely. Look at James. He's reading up on Jets history. Dude, all you got to do is call me, man. I'll talk your ear off for 4 hours. I'll tell you everything. Everything you need to know, man. Who doesn't know Jets history like the guys in this room, right? Let me take this banner down already. Let's see. I'll put this one up for you guys. There you go. So let's see. Look, here's Mitt Flair. Where'd it go? I just lost you. Oh, it's a super sticker. Thanks, Mitt. I appreciate that. Look at that. Look at that sticker. Oh, no, that's you. Yeah, well, thank you, Mitt. I appreciate that. And I hope that helps you not be as fearful about Becton as you were. Maybe that's it. Maybe just send super stickers. That'll get it off your chest. Every team in the league needs cornerback help, and Sherman and Nelson are unsigned. Why is that? Well, I'd have to say that they're probably asking for more money than anybody's willing to pay them. I mean, you got to think this. Why did Pittsburgh cut Steven Nelson? Did we ever get a real story on that? I don't recall. Right? But they cut him, and he's a good cornerback. Why? Why did they cut him? What's really going on there? It's like the Braylon Edwards thing. Like, he was really good one day, and then he was let go, and then he got signed for $1 million, and he was gone a year later. Like, what the fuck? What happened? So I think there's probably more to that Steven Nelson story, Frank. But as far as Richard Sherman, I think that Richard Sherman just he's older. He's probably asking for somewhere in the $9 million range, and people are probably offering him half of that. And he's just like, well, I don't need to do that. I'll wait till somebody's desperate, and then I'll get my payday. He doesn't need to rush it. That's what I think. It's interesting, though, for sure. Anders, what's up, Anders? Why are we not signing Richard Sherman? We have no depth at cornerback. Well, I don't know. I think, well, my thoughts on it are this. I think that we're a little bit better at cornerback than people think we are. That's my initial take. I'm not saying we're deep or anything, But I think guys like Bryce Hall, who I absolutely love, shouldn't be in cornerback one role, really shouldn't. And he also shouldn't be in the slot. He's like a really good, he's a really good zone cornerback is really what he is. But he's so disciplined. He's just such a strong cornerback. Like, he does not make mistakes. So anyway, I really like Bryce Hall, and I think that his ceiling has not been reached. We haven't seen his ceiling yet. If he gets the right development and the right coaching, he could potentially improve, because his whole thing is his feet. You know what I mean? It's like he's just, he's not really quick. That's just, and it's hard to, it's hard to teach that. So, and I think Blesson Austin is there. We have Jason Pinnock. We got Eccles, Michael Carter. And so there, Michael Carter the second, that is. And I think that they're looking at these young guys, and that all said, I think we're going to bring somebody in, but they might just be waiting for the June 1st cuts. But I do think, like, our cornerback room, while not deep, is probably a little better than a lot of us are thinking. And the coaching staff might just want to see what they have in these guys. You know what I mean? But I would say, honestly, Anders, I would say before training camp, you're going to see another cornerback brought in. That's my thought. So that's what I think. Let's see here. Wait a second. Every team in okay, I said that one. Berrios has been a standout in OTAs. Yeah. Well, I think Berrios is one of those guys, because, like, all right, let me back it up. Somebody said, how is 100 Club says, how is Berrios elevated? Well, I don't know if he's elevated yet, but he's been doing well in OTAs, and I think they like him. He's one of those guys that puts his nose down and works his ass off. Like, that's the word on him. And he's a talented guy with very good hands, and he also can, he also has special teams capabilities as well. So he has value. Now, when you're looking at your wide receiver room of Corey Davis, Keelan Cole, Denzel Mims, Elijah Moore, you have the Smith brothers and Berrios. I'm just saying, like, Jamison Crowder's value isn't quite what it was last year. You know what I mean? So when you're looking at, like, so if Jamison Crowder in their eyes is the fourth receiver, let's say Mims, Davis, and Elijah Moore, they're like, those are our dudes. And Crowder is bumped down a little bit, so he's fourth. Are you going to pay your fourth wide receiver $10 million? Is he better than Berrios? I think so. But that's where the issue comes in. Unfortunately, money is a big part of this stuff. One thing I like about Joe Douglas, while I just complained about he's not extending anybody, you can tell that he holds value, like the budget side of this thing in a high regard. I mean, he's not just throwing money around, man. That much we can see. Yeah, that's the thing. I think that's it, James. I think Sherman's just pricing himself out, and Nelson's probably doing the same thing. But again, they don't have to, they don't have to sign anywhere. They can wait. Look at dude, there are so many guys, like, still out there. You know what I mean? I mean, some big names. You got the Le'Veon Bells and the Todd Gurleys of the world, right? You have obviously Sherman and Nelson. There's quite a few players that are still out there. And a lot of them June 1st, like, there's going to be more. There's going to be more cuts, but I think a lot of shuffling will go around then. But don't forget, guys are going to go down. And that's when somebody's desperate, that's when they're willing to pay a little bit more, another $1 million or $2 million, right? I know, Meatball. Isn't that interesting? That's what we were talking about a little bit ago. It's like, dude, when you look back at that, he was here for 10 years. You remember why he left? Do you guys remember why he never missed a snap? He missed one snap. Like you said, it was like a choice. They took him off the field for a minute, but he never missed a snap for injury. Never. It's incredible. You remember why he left? You guys remember? And then I'll get to John Heibendahl. I see you, man. Thank you. You guys remember what happened? I remember what happened. The Brickashaw Ferguson was declining, so there's that. He was starting to decline a little bit. His play wasn't quite where it was. But this is a guy who was our 10-year starter at left tackle, never missed a game. He was incredibly healthy. And then we asked him to take a pay cut. And he said, you know what? How about this? I'll retire instead. That's what happened. Yeah, Eibendahl says he just retired, but he didn't. He wasn't going to retire that year. He probably was thinking about it or whatever. But he said they asked him to take a pay cut. And he said, no, I'm just going to go. Fuck you guys. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. I took it as disrespectful to him. I was just like, dude, that's our dude, man. Like, what are you guys doing? So, well, let's see. Heibendahl, thank you for the super chat, my friend. I appreciate that. Everything looking good with OTAs. Need a backup quarterback, cornerback, and linebacker still. Do you think Joe's still not done? I don't think he's done. If you guys hear the rumors about Nick Foles, what do you guys think of that? I ebb and flow with that. Personally, here's my whole take on the season, and a lot of my other opinions kind of fall from this. It's that I don't think we're trying to win a Super Bowl this year. Now, that doesn't mean we're not going to try to win, but I don't think we're trying to go all in to win a Super Bowl. There are teams, so much ahead of us. Like there are, like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, for example, the Kansas City Chiefs. Like there are teams that are just going to wipe the floor with us for the most part in a big game. So we know that. So I think they would probably value evaluation more than the need to have a guy in there, like to sign a guy that can start for a year or whatever. You know what I mean? So where the backup quarterback thing comes in, a lot of the reason that people are really wanting a backup quarterback like a vet is what do you always hear? They want them to be able to mentor. When for years and years and years, man, in the olden days, like that was not a thing. Like having a vet quarterback with the role of mentoring your young quarterback, that wasn't really a thing. The coaches mentored your quarterback. Now, that's great if they have a guy who's been around a while and all that, but it wasn't held as important as it seems to be these days. Even in like the past decade or so, it's like you hear a lot more of it. It's not to say I disagree with it, but I think that it's not quite as important. Like if we have a young stable of quarterbacks, like if we just go to war with Zach Wilson, James Morgan, and David Fales, let's say, and that's our guys, that's our group, and we just develop them and we're working on them and they all get reps and they all do the thing and Morgan's running the number 2 team and the whole thing. And our coach's responsibility is to coach these guys. I'm not so scared of that in a year when we're not going to be trying to win the Super Bowl. So that's my thoughts in it. That said, I think we'll probably bring in a vet, and I wouldn't be terribly upset if we traded for Nick Foles. I think that's interesting because he's kind of like he's like the creme de la creme of backups. That guy, he hasn't put it together as a starter in this league. But when he comes in a reserve capacity, he's good, man. You hear that last year they were talking about signing Fitzpatrick for the first 8 games and Foles for the second 8 games. You know what I mean? Just like let Fitzpatrick come in and do his whole Fitzmagic thing, and then he fizzles. And then that's right when Nick Foles comes in relief, and he'll take the rest of the year. That could actually work. It's an interesting idea. But I think if you bring a guy in like Nick Foles, for example, he's literally going to push somebody off the roster. So if you have any faith in White or Fales or Morgan for that matter at all, like it's a year when you don't really need the backup to come in and be able to carry the team through the playoffs. Like you don't really need that. So why not just see what James Morgan has? Why not just give these guys their valuable playing time? That's just another side of it. I'm not saying that's where I am, but that's why it's kind of softened for me. Now, as far as cornerback, again, I think we're probably going to see a cornerback brought in, But same, like I said, there's a blanket mentality that I kind of have right now, and everything kind of falls from there. I think again, I'd rather see what Blesson Austin and Bryce Hall and Eccles and Pinnock and Michael Carter and Javelin Guidry and Lamar Jackson and all. I'd rather see those guys running around than Richard Sherman. I would. Now, if we were a piece away, yeah, okay, get them. Get your dudes. But Sherman's just going to take playing time. If we get him, I'll be fine with it. I'm not anti-Richard Sherman or Steven Nelson. But that's my thought on it. It's just like, I think this year evaluation is just as important as a lot of the other things, like development and eval. That's what this year really is. Install. It's an install year. Let's see who can do what we need them to do. Let's see who progresses. And then we know where we are next year. We have 2 firsts and 2 seconds, a third, a fourth, 2 fifths, 3 sixths, a seventh. Like, let's see what we need to use those things on. You know what I mean? So if we gave up a 7th for Foles, that would be fine. If that's what it was. I wouldn't even want to see us. We have 3 of them, so maybe that's what it is. But so that's where I am with it. But thank you, John. I appreciate it, man. Let's see where that was. Oh, wow. You guys are talking. Crowder will see the writing on the wall. Patience. Yeah, I mean, that's Oh, look, hey, Ali, what's up, buddy? I almost missed you. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're here, man. Yeah, dude, any fucking time. After this is over, I have a thing with Gotham City. What is it? Gotham City. How come I can't remember all of a sudden? All of a sudden, Gotham City. Hold on. Gotham City crew. I forget the word crew. Like when we're done here today, I'm going to go do a thing with them. But yeah, I love you, Ali. I think Ali is top notch. You guys love Ali or what? I'll do anything with Ali. So whenever you want, man, let's reach out. I'm up here in Maine. I only have 1 amusement park in the next month. Dude, I've crushed it. This past 2 months, dude, I had 12 different piers and amusement parks. I'm toast. My kids looked at me the other day. They're like, dude, we need a break. I'm all roller coastered out, man. They were like, you got to be kidding. And then you're going on a lot of roller coasters when a 13-year-old goes, I don't know. I'm kind of done with it. I don't want to go to an amusement park today. You know what I mean? All right, let me back this up and see what you guys are talking about. All right, let me back it up to Heibendahl. Where was it? Oof, okay. But Ali, anytime, my man, anytime. So, yeah, there was a rumor today, or maybe it wasn't a rumor, but somebody was talking about it. Who was it? I think maybe I heard it on Boy Green's show. He was talking about the potential for Brian Poole to come to the Jets on a lower contract that he was asking for. Would that be adequate for you guys? So if you're looking for a cornerback, and Brian Poole ends up being the guy, does that satisfy you? It doesn't for me. I like Michael Carter in the slot. I do. I want to see him out there. I like him. Let's put him in the slot and get him his first season. Let's do it. I think if we do need cornerback help, it's going to be on the outside, right? Isn't that what you guys think? We have 3 slot guys. Scary. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Who was just saying that? Somebody just said it. So Gitmo Bob said the Jets DC had Poole in Atlanta and let him go. Right. So what does that say? It sounds to me like Ulbricht might not be the biggest Brian Poole fan. for whatever reason. I don't know what it is. Brian Poole's a good football player. But last year, think about this, guys. Last year, he went to free agency, and we all thought he was going to get a big contract last year. Then out of nowhere, he re-signs with the Jets on a 1-year, $5 million contract, which is about almost half of what I thought he was going to get. I thought he was going to get a 3-year, $8 to $10 million. That's what I thought. So he signs with us for 1 year, $5 million. What does that tell you? Now I know they say him and Jordan Jenkins said, "Oh, we want to play with Greg Williams." Well, yeah, that's great. That's fantastic. But what's more likely is that he didn't have many options. So this year, we don't call him. We're not offering him at least as far as we know, we're not offering him anything. And why is he still out there? Where's the feeding frenzy for the best slot corner in the league or top 3 slot corner? Where is it? What is it about Brian Poole? His former defensive coordinator doesn't seem like he wants him. Joe Douglas doesn't seem like he wants him. There's no urgency anyway. And then no other team is signing him. So that speaks volumes, man. Is he asking for $12 million a year? Something stupid like that? That could be it. He could just be pricing himself out. But I don't think so. I think there's something up. You know what I mean? Yeah, Isaiah Dunn. That's right. That's funny. I was actually like, I know there's somebody else I'm missing. Isaiah Dunn. Supposedly, he's doing really well in OTAs. Hey, man. See, people like to think, well, we gave him that, he was a priority undrafted free agent, right? We gave him $180,000 guaranteed, for $20,000 signing bonus and $160,000. And it sounds like a lot for an undrafted free agent. It is, but that's not even vet minimum. It's not, think about it. If we gave Brian Poole $1 million or $2 million, it would seem like a joke. We give this guy $150,000 and we think it's like this huge thing. But it does mean something because as far as undrafted free agents go, it's a lot of money. But don't forget, Shyheim Carter, the guy that we did that with last year, is gone. He's on the Houston Texans, if I remember correctly. So them giving him that $180,000 does say that he's a priority for you. They want him. They want him more than some other guys. But it doesn't mean he's a lock to make the roster. So the fact that he's turning some heads, that's a good sign, man. That would be fantastic. Could you imagine finding our starting corner as an undrafted free agent, dude? I don't think we've ever done that before. I don't think we found safeties, wide receivers, defensive tackles. I don't remember if we ever found a starting cornerback as an undrafted free agent. We started Lamar Jackson last year, but he wasn't ready. And I liked Lamar Jackson. I did. I do. And what did I say that week that happened? I said the problem with starting guys like this is that all their potential goes out the window because they have a big bad play like that, like Ruggs burning them the last seconds of the game for the win, and then we don't get our first win of the year. That can ruin a player. When we haven't heard a peep about Lamar Jackson. My fear is that was all she wrote. And that can happen. That can take your mind off the game, man. You could never shake stuff like that. But yeah, Frank, I think Isaiah Dunn's another one. He's running around out there. He's running around. Is Minshew a free agent, or would he would need to be traded for Minshew? Hell's going on here? There we go. All right, what do we got? Oh, Rags Morales. Thank you, man. What's up with you? Coming in late. That's not a problem. Welcome. I'm glad you're here, my friend, and thank you for that super chat. I do appreciate it. So you want Disturbed wants Mullins as the backup. Yeah, well, he played in this system, didn't he? So I wouldn't want Minshew, though. I wouldn't. Hold on a second. Let me see here. I don't want a guy who wants to be a starter. That's my whole thing. Is Mullins a free agent, though? I thought, let me see. Yeah, he's still a free agent. Sure. So you're saying, why trade for Foles when you can just grab Mullins, right? How many years is he in the league? Let me see here. He was drafted. So he's a third year. Is that what it says? Let me see. Nick Mullins, right? Yeah, I think that would be an interesting one. Oh, come on with this. But again, I think like you got to look at it. Like, why are they not signing guys or whatever? You know what I mean? It's like, do they not think they need them? I don't know, but I think Nick Mullins would be interesting. That would be an interesting one. I know, and that's the thing. Jeremy has a good point. There's going to be guys cut soon. Like, don't forget, all the teams are up at around 90 players right now, so they're all going to be cut, and that's when you get your guy. If you have a guy you got your eyes on, just go, just wait it out. Let the young guys throw the ball around for another month, and then when the guys get cut June 1st, whenever. June 1st. What the fuck am I talking about? It's June. I'm fried, guys. It's June 10th. Like June. I'm looking at June 1st like it's in the future. But you know what I mean? So there's going to be cuts. And you just get your guy then. If there's nobody out there you like now, then just get him then. Yeah, I know. We don't have a legit backup at the quarterback, but we don't know that either, though. We just don't have anybody who has any experience. We could have a legit backup. Did you hear Connor Hughes said, I don't know if the Jets are bringing in a backup quarterback, but James Morgan isn't it. Did you see that comment? It's like, dude, the guy had no quarterback coach. Like, and I'm not a fan of the draft. I'm not a fan of the pick. I'm not. But the guy, he came from a super small division, and he had no quarterback coach last year. And he was on the Adam Gase-led Jets. Like, why don't you give him more than 3 OTA practices? James Morgan ain't it. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Just that kind of stuff. It's like, why don't we give him a second? You know what I mean? Why don't you give these guys a minute? Isn't that interesting? Lamar Jackson had the best completion percentage against on the Jets. And then that play, The thing is with Lamar Jackson is that he was one of the guys I really liked coming out. Like, I liked him as a late round guy. I like his size. He was the biggest, or like in the top 3 biggest cornerbacks, like strong, strength, size, all those things. His problem is he loses the ball when he turns his back. So it has to, run with the receiver. He loses the ball. So it's a problem. You know what I mean? But that's the kind of thing that can be taught. Like he can be developed. Taking that guy and putting him in as the starter, it's like, it was bound to happen. It was bound to happen. The big one. And the biggest one happened. I mean, think about it. That play was such a big play that his defensive coordinator got fired the day after. Fired. He could be thinking all kinds of stuff. Like, if I didn't bite on the move, Greg Williams wouldn't have gotten fired. He's been good to me. He's taking care. All kinds of stuff can be happening in that kid's brain. So, hey, Grant Rude, what's up, buddy? Thanks for saying hello. Look at this guy. Hello, everybody. Hope you're all enjoying your night. Well, thank you. That doesn't sound rude at all. That sounds very nice. Has Moses entered to speak yet? Yeah, we kind of started with Moses. You want to say anything, though? You could say something. See my pinky come out? Look at that. I'm dainty. It just happens. I didn't plan that. See, I wouldn't take Minshew because I think the guy still wants to be a starter. So he's going to be fighting for that starter job. And there can be, like, if Zach Wilson has any period of time where he looks rough, like he has a period of time where he's just not doing well, there's going to be rifts in the locker room if there's another potential starter on the squad. That's like the old Parcells adage: if you have two quarterbacks, you really have none. And you know what he's saying there is like, dude, you don't want quarterback controversy. It's one of the worst things. It can divide the house, and a house divided against itself, cannot stand. So, and there are going to be all kinds of fans that love Jake Minshew, or Jake is his name, Jake Minshew, right? Gardner Minshew, Jake. Jake Minshew, Jake the Snake Minshew, right? So, yeah, I don't know, man. I think, I don't want him. I don't let him take that whole gig, that whole act he has. Let him go somewhere else. Let him argue and bicker with Trevor Lawrence. Who'd you hear? He had he was working out an injury and came back in and threw 2 pick sixes, right? Isn't that fun? Doesn't mean anything, but it's fun. It's not a good start like we had. Minshew. Let me see here. You guys are out of your mind. Let me see. Gardner Minshew. Minshew. That's bullshit. It's Minshew. It's just Minshew shit. When I was up in Washington State last year, there are still Minshew. I've been calling him Minshew the whole time. They were still selling shirts of that guy up there. Isn't that funny? He was that big of a deal up there. He was that big of a deal, man. They were still selling his merch everywhere. It's crazy. So what do you guys think, man? What do you think of Michael Carter? You like Michael Carter? The running back, you think he's our guy? Which running back do you think's cut? Let's do that. What's the first back off the squad? Because we're not keeping them all. And I have a little idea here. What's the guy you think is the first back off the squad? I know what a lot of you guys are going to say, and I already disagree. There it is. That's the one. Look at you guys. Everybody's on the same page. Isn't that interesting? So I'll tell you, Scott Wilson says Perine. That's why I expected to see more Perines. It's funny, because people are down on Perine. I'm not. I like LaMichael Perine. I think he's a good back, and I think he's going to he fills a role that a lot of guys aren't going to fill. Like that, he's different than the other backs on the team. The guy getting cut, in my opinion, is Josh Adams, and you want to know why? He is underrated, Stephen Engel. Thank you. He's underrated. Everybody forgets. Did you know there was a stat last year? Maybe Frank Markopoulos can find this for us. LaMichael Perine, when he came on the field last year, I think it was almost 90% of the time when he came on the field, he was getting the ball. So the defense could they could play the odds and just key on him. Because Gase is so unimaginative that he would bring Perine on and hand him the ball. Like, that's it. And he still did okay. But there was a stat out there that he, like 90% of the time, I think something like 88, 89%, something, that when he came on the field, he was getting the handoff. And where did he get the handoff? He was going up the A gap. So it's not a hard thing to defend. So not only did we have issues with the offensive line, not only did we have quarterback issues, not only did we have all these issues, but on top of that, the percentages were against Lamichael Perine as well. Because the defense was very easily able to just key on him. Just watch Perine. He's getting the ball every time he comes on the field. Like 1 out of 100, he didn't. It's crazy to think about that. So Lamichael Perine, we got to remember, was a Joe Douglas pick. I don't think that guarantees him a slot, but there was a reason that he picked him. Now, granted, it was different coaching staff and all that sort of stuff. If this coaching staff doesn't want him, he's gone. But I don't think we're going to see that. The reason that I think it's going to be Josh Adams is because Robert Saleh was asked about his running backs, and he mentioned the positives of every other back. He said, Tevin Coleman is this, Lamichael Perine is this, Michael Carter is this, And then he said, there's someone else. Remember, did you guys see that? I was like, ooh, that's not a good sign. And it's a shame because Josh Adams is a good back. And I think our stable of, if we had Michael Carter, Josh Adams, Ty Johnson, and Lamichael Perine, if I can get it out, Lamichael Perine, that's fine. I don't know why. I would hate to see one of these young guys lose their spot for Tevin Coleman, who's not going to make it through the year. I know, and that's the issue, right? Adams runs upright. He does. He runs tall. And he's 6'2" or something like that. He's not a little guy. He's huge. But he's effective. I would hate to see Josh Adams pushed off the team for Tevin Coleman, who's not going to be here next year. And he's more than likely not going to make it through the year. But that's it, Scott Wilson. That's the guy I want to see cut. I'm hoping, with full respect, and I'm not wishing anything, but I'm hoping that Tevin Coleman shows his colors sooner rather than later, his injury colors. Like, if he's going to get injured, I just hope it's injured early. This way we can just make the decision easy and go, look, the guy can't play. Let's just keep the kids. That's what I think. Well, we can carry 5 running backs, sure. But how many receivers are you going to carry? So here's the situation. We have the receiver room. Everybody's talking about keeping 7 receivers. Right? So we're going to keep 7 receivers, 5 running backs. How many tight ends are we keeping? Right? How many cornerbacks are we keeping? Defensive backs. Don't forget, man. We have a lot of safeties. We have a whole bunch of guys. So at some point, someone's going to lose out. And I don't see us carrying 5 backs. I think that's one of the areas. Honest to God, I think 4 is heavy without a practice squad guy. You know what I mean? And maybe somebody makes it to the practice squad. I don't know if Josh Adams can still be on the practice squad. Howard's got, that would be my best case scenario. If Tevin Coleman wins the job, don't get me wrong, great, he wins the job, but it's like, Tevin Coleman, we know what he is, very talented, and I love his running style, but dude, he doesn't stay healthy. He doesn't. So, and I think when you look at the running backs as well, you're probably going to want to have some sort of fullback. So if that's Trevon Wesco, we didn't bring anybody else in for the position, right? Or did we? We brought in a fullback, didn't we? Fucking, see what I'm talking about? So anyway, it's hard because, you have the tight ends. You got Trevon Wesco. Ryan Griffin is lighting it up in practice, looking very good, very sprightly. Excuse me, in practice. Hold on. He's looking good in practice. You obviously have Kenny Yeboah, who's making the roster. If he doesn't make the roster, I'm going to be very surprised. You got Herndon. I don't know what he's doing. I haven't heard anything about him in OTAs. Have you? Then we brought in Tyler Kroft, who's an elite blocker who has put up passing numbers before. Not in Buffalo, but he did. I think it was Cincinnati. He put up numbers. He had 48 catches. Let's take a look. Gardner Minshew. That's bullshit. Gardner Minshew all day. Minshew. What is this Minshew stuff? Let's see. Tyler Kroft. Let's look at Tyler Kroft's stats. Let me share it with you. Let's take a look. So let's look at Tyler Kroft's stats. You guys see it? Oh. Okay, sorry. Okay, so Tyler Kroft. Maybe not. Just Tyler Kroft. What the hell happened? Let's see. How many receptions did he have? Yeah, there it is. 42. 2017. So 3 years ago, he had 62 targets, 42 receptions for 400 yards, 7 touchdowns. Okay? So the guy can catch. And then look, last 3 years for, you know what, he only played 5 games in 2018, so whatever that is, but he played 11 and 10, so that's a little concerning. I didn't know he was out that much, but he had 14 receptions and 16 receptions respectively, and he had 1 and 3 touchdowns respectively. So, but I don't think, Tyler Kroft's main thing is that he's a blocker. He's a ferocious blocker. But again, he can catch. 42 receptions, that's better than Herndon's best year. Isn't that funny? Like, we look at Tyler Kroft as like, he's a big doofy blocking guy, and then we want Herndon to be this electric number 1 type tight end. And his best year, it was not even that. It wasn't even to where Tyler Kroft's is. I wouldn't say there's 0 chance. It's unlikely. I think we're going to keep 6, but I wouldn't say that it's 0 chance at all, actually. You got Corey Davis. Let's see. Corey Davis, Denzel Mims, Keelan Cole, Jamison Crowder, Elijah Moore. They're locks. In my opinion, unless Crowder, the whole thing with Crowder. Let's just say for now everything gets resolved. Then you have Berrios, the Johnson brothers, DJ Montgomery. They're all here. Okay, so you don't think Berrios and the Smith brothers going to have the potential to make it? I do. I think it's one of our stronger positions all of a sudden. It's crazy. And don't forget, man, Joe Douglas was probably scarred traumatically by what happened last year. He brought in 5 receivers. They all got hurt. He drafted Mims. He brought in 2, Michael Campbell and Lawrence Cager as undrafted free agents. Then he brought in Doxson. He brought in Perine. Right, so he brought in a bunch of guys, and every single one of them got hurt. And he was having to scour the dumpsters. He was dumpster diving. Moncrief, Hogan, like O'Leary says, the corpse of Hogan. He's a lacrosse player right now. Oh, so Herndon caught he caught a pass and he dropped a pass and caught a couple. Yeah. No, Owen, I'm going to say, and I talked about this a little bit earlier, but I'll say it again. I'm not worried about Denzel Mims in the slightest. Now, even if Keelan Cole beats him out, which I think is unlikely, but I think even if he does, if he just outplays Denzel Mims, there's nothing wrong with it. Denzel Mims is young. And if he needs another year to kind of come into his own and he needs to be shown that competition is king, I think there's nothing wrong with that, man. Like, let Denzel Mims know, just because you were the second round pick and just because you're 6'3" and run 4.38 and all that jazz, it doesn't mean you're guaranteed anything. You must earn it. I think that's an incredible positive. I really do. I really do. I think it's a positive. Even if it takes him a minute. Denzel Mims is so good. The only issue I have with Denzel Mims is potentially he seems a little bit passive to me. He just seems passive. Like he's like, that's it. But I'll leave that to Saleh and LaFleur to get the game out of him. Remember, like LaFleur said, he's like, no, we gotta teach this guy. I forget exactly what he said, but it was like it was echoing that. It's like, no, we got to talk to Denzel Mims a little bit. He's got to learn. That he's got to earn this. So I wouldn't say I'm concerned. Again, these are just OTAs. Gardner Minshew. That's funny. So right there. So there. Okay. So I don't know what that was. I was like, wait a second. We signed a fullback. So I think the fullback is going to go to Wesco, and I think Wesco is going to thrive in it, man. I do. I think Wesco is so much more talented than he's given credit for. Remember a couple weeks ago we were talking. He's 267 pounds. On top of that, he can catch, he can block. He's like a guard running around out there. The coach of West Virginia, when he was asked who the best player on his team was, when the year Wesco was coming out, he said Trevon Wesco, the best player I have. It's West Virginia, but they're a decent squad, man. They're a decent program. I mean, hold on a second. Who's connecting? Somebody just connected to my hotspot, to my wireless here. Hold on. Somebody connected. One of my kids is getting on. Hold on. Let me text my wife. It says... Hold on. I got to make sure nobody's on the internet because then you guys start getting freeze beam. Let me just call my wife. Hold on. I'll just call her. Hold on. She's right behind me. Let me see. Yeah, I agree. Come on. Anyway. Is this one on it? I got to make sure my phone isn't on it. All this stuff. I got to make sure. See, this is the stuff that gets it. It's like when, yep, there's one. My phone jumped on there. Get out of here, man. You can't do that. So, yeah, Howard, I get it, man. I know what you're saying, but I think that it's much more likely than you think right now that we keep more than 5 wide receivers. Oh, so let's talk about the tight ends, though. We have Wesco, who I think is a lock to make the team, unless something crazy happens. In my opinion, he's a lock. I think Ryan Griffin is a lock to make the team. I think Kenny Yeboah is a lock to make the team. And I think Herndon is supposed to make the team. Me, personally, if he doesn't show up and beat guys out, I'd let him go. But I think that all said, I think he will make the team. So that's 4 right there. Now, you could say Wesco is a running back. You could say he's a fullback. That would count for the running back room. So now you're talking about – what the hell is that? Is there something on my camera? So now are you talking about – oh, hold on. Here's my wife. I'm sorry. Someone hooked up to my internet. There you go. She'll know what that means. So now, whose spot is Wesco taking? Is he in the 4? Are we keeping 4 tight ends? Or are we keeping 5 running backs, including a fullback? So it gets tough. It really does. And don't forget, certain positions, defensive backs, wide receivers, they're a large part of your special teams makeup, these guys. We already have Hardy. Technically speaking, he's a cornerback. But he's here for special teams. So that's taken a spot from the cornerback room already. We forget about him because he's not really there to play quarterback, a cornerback, right? Croft, that's right. There's the other tight end. Thank you. And Croft's going to make. Thank you, John. So what do you do? Yeboah's making the team, man. They might try to stash him on the practice squad. Kenny Yeboah is the best tight end we have, in my opinion. He is. Dude, everybody had like a 3rd or 4th round grade on this guy. It was weird. I was listening to Moving the Chains, right? You guys like that show with Jim and Pat? Best show on the NFL, period. They're the best. Pat Kerwin was a former front office staff under Dick Steinberg for the Jets. So they were talking about something happened with the tight ends this year. Like they were talking about running backs and the devaluation and all that kind of stuff. And they said something's going on with the tight ends too, because so many tight ends that had higher grades, they went back down to the 6th and 7th and undrafted free agent. They said there's something weird is going on. There might be a concerted devaluation of tight ends going on right now. Interestingly, you had Kyle Pitts taken 4th overall. So at the top end, it wasn't that, but it was a severe drop-off from the value of tight ends. And it's weird. And they were talking about it. I really dug. I was very interested because I was wondering that too, man. The fact that we got Kenny Yeboah as an undrafted free agent is mind-blowing to me. In my opinion, he's the best tight end on our team. That's my thought. Isn't that a good show, Steve? I used to listen to it religiously every day. Like when I was driving around from my last job, I was like an interventionist and driving around from hospital to hospital and that shit. I would drive for hours. I would just be in my car for hours. I would listen to Jim and Pat every day from 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock. And if I missed it or whatever, I would just rewind it on Sirius. They're the best show out there. Well, I think Ryan Griffin would get the boot before the young guys. That's my thought. But he's looking good in training camp. But he's already proven the injury thing is weird with him. So that's right, though. John Emerell and Nelly's like, Croft's making the team. I agree. Think about this, man. So just think about this. You have an offensive line where we have Mekhi Becton, assuming everybody's healthy. We have a Mekhi Becton, Elijah Vera Tucker, Connor McGregor, Connor McGovern, and let's just say Cam Clark and George Fant. Okay? Then you have a fullback, that's Trevon Wesco, who's known as a ferocious blocker. Then you have your tight end, Kenny Yeboah, who's the pass-catching tight end, and then you have Tyler Croft out there. Croft and Wesco are essentially movable guards. Like they're massive, strong, very effective blockers. And then you have quick guys like Michael Carter and Elijah Moore running around with Corey Davis and Denzel Mims and Keelan Cole, who are all known to be very good blocking wide receivers. These are big guys, dude. All of them are big except for Elijah Moore. And, Michael Carter and Elijah Moore are smaller and shiftier. But dude, the rest of those guys, you want to talk about laying people out around there? Dude, this is my kind of team, man. The kind of team that just beats you to death. And then when you finally get your dander up and you meet them head on, then they throw the shifty guy out there and he outpaces you. You know what I mean? A lightning down the sideline. Like that's the way to do it. That would be good. And this would be my thing. You guys talking about my daughter? Is that Julia Gulia? Is that what you're doing? She's probably the one on my computer. That's what you're saying. On my internet, anyway. I got to be careful. You guys know. What's the matter? Come here. All right. You want to hang out with me? This is what I do. I just sit here. So this is interesting. Ant Jets 82. I think Herndon and Griffin are vying for the 4th tight end spot. That is the way it should be, in my opinion. And not for nothing, if Herndon can't beat him, if you can't beat Ryan Griffin, then, dude, you need to go. You need to go, man. I'm all for Herndon coming out of his hole here and becoming something. But you remember my interview with Murph Baldwin from Top Billin'? I said, do you think there's any chance for Herndon to come out of this and like become like a number 1 tight end? And he just said, become, he goes, he's never supposed to be a number 1 tight end. He was always the second guy all through college. He stepped up 1 year in college, a little bit, but like that's not who he is. And he covered him all the way back to high school. So when you hear a guy like that who knows him, has been covering him for his whole entire football career, he says he's not supposed to be a number 1 tight end. That's not his role. You can see like he's been the guy for the last 4 years. Well, 3 years on the field. This year would be 4th year. This is a guy that's been penciled in as our starter without competition, period. He's been unchallenged his entire time here. And he's not even really supposed to be the number 1 guy. He had a really interesting rookie year. That's it. It wasn't even great. 39 catches. That's it. And he was injured his rookie year, too. Don't forget. He's been injured every single year. On top of the drops and the just disappearing in games. He's not the best blocker. Like, dude, he has a lot of holes, man. Like I said, I'm not anti-Herndon. I'm not. But when you look at things objectively, you know, Jets fans are funny. It's like, you know, if you're not 100% on board with somebody, it's not even just Jets fans. It's just people these days. But if you're not 100%, then you must be the other way. That's not always the case. Like, I like Chris Herndon. I'm rooting for Chris Herndon. But if the guy can't really show something this year, it's time to go, man. We got other guys in the house. I'd hate to see Kenny Yeboah pushed off the team, or Trevon Wesco pushed off the team for Herndon if he's not showing up. You know what I mean? That's a good comment, and Jets. What else we got? Get rid of every pre-Douglas pick. Time for Herndon to go. Yeah. Dude, it looks that way, man. Who do we got? Obviously, the Quinnen Williams draft, right? There's a couple guys, right? So we have Quinnen Williams. We got Blake Cashman, Chuma Edoga, and Blesson Austin, right? Anybody else from that one? Ja'Kai Polite got cut. Who else was there? Ja'Kai Polite and Chuma Edoga, the 3rd-round picks. We had no 2nd-round pick. The 4th-round pick was Trevon Wesco, right? So with Trevon Wesco, 5th round was Blake Cashman, 6th round was Blesson Austin, and we didn't have a 7th. So other than that, it's Marcus May, dude. Right? Who's here? That's it. It's Marcus May. Is there anyone else? Hennessy, our long snapper, still around. Who else? I'm thinking here. Who else is it? There's nobody. It's fucking Marcus May. That's it. Wesco, like that, just that draft, the 18 draft? 2019 draft. No, 18. The 2018 draft class. Not all of them are here. Obviously, Ja'Kai Polite's gone. And I don't think that Blake Cashman, sad to say, I don't know if he's going to make it either, man. This is his last year. If he has any issues this year, he's a goner. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, Grant. This is one of the knocks on our boy, right? I think at this point, at least for me, I'm not like before the draft, I'm totally into like deconstructing everybody and everything. Like, my concerns and everything like that. But I think now that he's here, I'm just flat out rooting for the guy. It's not to say I can't say if I see something negative, but that's all concerning. But so far, so good with this kid. So far, so good, man. Not only his touch and all that, but it's how he's showing up, Like LaFleur said he had to calm him down with, like, what to learn and all. He was like, just gimme. And like the hanging out with everybody, like he stayed around New Jersey. Like he's just so far so good with this guy. I'm all into it. I'm into Zach Wilson. You see Sam Darnold is in a little bit of hot water. Did he get injured today? I think I might have heard that. Let's see. Sam Darnold get injury? Sam Darnold named NFL's worst passer outside the pocket. Isn't that sad, man? It's just sad. Like, he was known as good. Like, that was one of his things. Ugh. Long snappers don't count. Yeah, they do. We've had like 3 long snappers in the past 25 years. What was it? James Dearth. We had James Dearth. Who was the other guy? Between Hennessy and Dearth. You remember? Nathan Shepard. That's the one. Fatukasi. There you go, Steven. Okay. Good. So we still have Fatukasi. We still have Kyle Phillips. We still have Nathan Shepard. There you go. That's the 2017 draft. That's right. Nathan Shepard was the guy. After Mike McCagnon drafted Sam Darnold, he got an interview and he said, now we're really happy to have gotten Sam Darnold. It felt exactly the way that we were hoping. And the rest of the draft, our job is to support him. And his first choice to support Sam Darnold was Tulane's own 26-year-old Nathan Shepard. Isn't that good? Tanner Purdom. That's who it is. Thank you, Dunker Sloot. What's up, buddy? It's good to see you. Tanner Purdom. That's it. That's good. See, but that's it. I mean, that's been our long snap. James Dearth was here forever. And then Tanner Purdom. And then now it's, what is it? Not Matt Hennessy. Matt Hennessy came out in the draft 2 years, right? Do I have it wrong? James Hennessy? Jim? Todd? Mark Hennessy? I don't know. Hennessy. James, interesting question. Do you think the Jets gave up on Darnold too soon, or is he a bust? No, I don't think either one. I don't think he's not just a bust. He was actively deconstructed as a football player by Adam Gase. Dude, it's just so terrible. We won't go through the whole thing now, but I think Sam Darnold has as much potential still as he always had. I think they're going to have to undo a lot of damage for him. So, no, I do not think the Jets gave up on him too soon. I think it was like this year you had to make decisions on the long term of his contracts and, whether you're digging in or not. You're going to sign his 5th-year option and all that sort of stuff. Or are you going to move on? Joe Douglas having the 2nd overall pick, he just said, you know what? I'm going to hit reset. I have a brand new coaching staff. I am the unquestioned leader here now. I don't have a coach on the same reporting platform as I'm on. Everything's new. It would be silly to keep the same quarterback that a previous regime brought in when he looked like he looked. So I think it was the perfect time to move on. It's a shame that we had to, because, man, trading that number 2 pick would have been franchise changing. We could have gotten 3 firsts for that easy and still got a great player in the first round. So, but it is what it is. So to answer your question, I think it was the perfect time to move on. That's what I think. Tanner Purdom. Yeah, that's what it is. The vaccine thing. We don't got to get in all that shit here. I guarantee this is split in half. So let's just not even talk about that, please. There's no reason to do that shit. I bet most of these guys. Oh, here we go. See, Steven, just stop. Don't do it. I'm telling you, don't do it. We don't need to do it here. You can talk about that shit anywhere else in the world. Everybody will eat it up for you. On my coaster vids, I'm talking about it over there too. The comments on my coaster vids. People are like, fucking bullshit. I'm like, yeah, okay. It's a roller coaster video, man. I'm talking about roller coasters. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, look, we explored every potential option. Shush. Yeah, the car next to me. My dog doesn't like it. If you look at, when the season ended, if you were being completely objective, you knew there was a 99% chance that we're taking a quarterback. Just look that way. Now especially me, I had more fun with potential trade options than anybody. My Monday Night Mocks, we did it every week. There was a new potential trade or whatever. But when they settled all down, it was much more likely that we were going to take a quarterback, and it started to look more and more like that quarterback would be Zach Wilson. In the beginning, you didn't know what it would be. We blew the chance for Trevor Lawrence, so it was like, okay, is it going to be Justin Fields? Is it going to be Trey Lance? Is it going to be Mac Jones? Is it going to be Zach Wilson? So it was interesting, but I think we probably got the guy, man. That's what I'm thinking. Like I said, I'm not getting too ahead of myself, like Eagle fan. I'm not going to jump the gun here. And like Grant, I still have my concerns, but I think it's the guy. I think that getting everybody together fresh like this, that we have. Look at the guys we have here. Look at Robert Saleh. Look at LaFleur. Look at Ulbrich. Look at Joe Douglas. Look at the players we're bringing in. And you look at the type of quarterback that he is and the mentality that he has. He's got personality, man. Like, with all respect to Sam Darnold, I liked him and I was totally rooting for him. Like, seriously, man. But the guy's kind of dry. He's just kind of a dud as far as personality goes. He just doesn't have that kind of charm. Zach Wilson has it. And I think that's going to be something, man. You see the hangout. Did we see Darnold hanging out with his offensive lineman or anybody at a game once? I didn't. I don't recall anyway. Like I said, the last time I remember the Jets we had the, Sanchez Jets West thing. But the last time I remember anybody really hanging out, especially offensive linemen, is when Jumbo Elliott and Jason Babini and Matt O'Dwyer destroyed that bar in Long Island. Remember, 31 police had to break it up. 31 police were needed to get those guys out of there. 31 police. Can you imagine Jumbo Elliott, Jason Babini, and Matt O'Dwyer running around breaking shit? Like, who's going to stop them? Hey, Steve, let me tell you, I love audiobooks, bro. If you haven't gotten into the audiobook thing, you're missing out. Like, I love to read, but audiobooks are great. And if Frank being an audiobook narrator, I'm telling you, narrators make all the difference. There are some books that I listen to. Like, if there's a narrator that I like there are some narrators I like so much that when they read another book, I'll even listen to that book just because it's them. They're so good. They play out the different parts and everything. Yeah, man. Frank's job turns me on, man. That's some good shit. I fucking wish I could do that. But just so you know, buddy, okay, audiobooks. I've listened to probably 80 audiobooks. We listen to it in the car when we drive. Listen to some Brandon Sanderson. Listen to Harry Potter, all that stuff. All the full books, man. It's best. So what else we got? So it's 10 o'clock. So we're going to wrap this up. What else you guys got? Let's see. I know, buddy. I wouldn't, if I thought you were serious, I wouldn't even admit anything about it. I know you're playing, Mr. Birthday Boy. So, Johnny P, everything Zach does is faster than Darnold, and the team really seems behind him. He's the guy. Yeah, I feel the same way. I really do. I really do, man. I think that, like, having so many young guys, first and second year players, getting them all together to hang out like they're doing, I think that you couldn't be doing anything better. It's the smartest thing in the world. Get them to hang out. It just so happens that a New York team is advancing in the playoffs. Dude, capitalize on that excitement. Get him in. See Robert Saleh wearing an Islanders jersey when he's giving an interview. He knows what he's doing, man. He's capitalizing on the excitement. The Jets and the Islanders are linked. Whether or not you could be a Rangers fan or a Devils fan, doesn't matter. But the Jets and the Islanders are historically connected with the whole Hempstead, Nassau Coliseum connection, right? Well, you know what, Johnny P? I'm not. I know. I'm not a Wheel of Time fan. I've often thought about getting into it, but I don't know. I just never did. But I love Brandon Sanderson, man. You know, supposedly there's a new Wheel of Time coming out. He's writing one. He's adding to it. But, yeah, I love – Brandon Sanderson puts out books like nobody's business. I love him. Let's see. Well, Garrett, I think that would be exciting, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be exciting? I think, yeah. I think, dude, like I said, I think that we're being overlooked. It's like, did you see there was a ranking that last year the Jets had the 30th ranked skill positions. Last year the Jets had the 30th ranked skill positions. This year, after adding Corey Davis and Elijah Moore and Keelan Cole, we have the 30th ranked skill positions. How does that even happen? Like, somebody's not looking. So everybody's overlooking us. And I think that when you do that and a team catches some momentum and they have talent, which we do, you never know what can happen. You never know. But I don't think this is the year we go to the Super Bowl. To answer Don Amorello, next year we're Super Bowl champions. 2022 New York Jets Super Bowl champions. That's what I say. Okay? Yeah, man, Harry, I'm with you. I've been this excited in a while. And I'm tempering it. But here's the thing. Allow yourself to enjoy it, guys. I know we're damaged. I know. But allow yourself to enjoy it. There's nothing wrong with enjoying this stuff. There's positive reports coming out of camp. Enjoy it. We don't get enough enjoyment from this damn team. Let's not ruin the good times with the potential of future bad times. You know what I mean? So, Johnny P, thank you, dude. I do appreciate that. And I'm just happy you guys are here, man. I'm developing my whole Patreon tier system right now. So hopefully you guys will get involved with that. Number one, it would be great for the support. But number two, I have a whole bunch of additional stuff that doesn't just fit. So we're trying to develop things that you guys would get. But I'll fill you in on all that stuff. It's just about done. So, yeah, man. So, listen, guys. Yeah, right, John? You like it. I'm with it, man. But I'm going to bounce out of here. So, thank you guys for being here. It is 10:05. That is 2 hours. And I always appreciate you guys being here. Hey, what's up for you, amigos? Glad you made it. We're leaving, but but yeah, man, you guys are the best, and I really do appreciate you being here. And I will see you guys. See you guys soon. How's that grab you? Have a good night. Such a large collection of guys hanging out together outside. The last time we really saw that was when Jumbo Elliott, Jason Fabini, and Matt O'Dwyer absolutely tore up that bar. Remember that? They got arrested. They beat the hell out of everybody, the bouncers. Remember that? Didn't O'Dwyer rip the sink out of the wall or something like that? After that, they're like, hey, why don't we not let offensive linemen hang out? That's why they brought George Fant with them. They're like, George Fant is known to be a cool dude. He's calm. He's respectful. He's like the adult. He was the escort for that one. You can't let Dan Feeney out in public. You see him down in the beer. banging beer cans on his head. That guy needs to be watched. He does. He needs to be watched. You got to bring the parents with that guy. These are bold predictions because we don't have anything to go on, right? We have bologna. We have a bunch of bologna sandwiches, and we're taking one and saying one of these is prosciutto and fresh mozzarella and roasted peppers, but they all look like bologna. So we just got to guess. We have to guess. Oh, this is the one. If it's not, well, I guess we eat bologna. This is when the Colts had Peyton Manning waiting there because he didn't come out the year before because Parcells, our brilliant head coach, decided not to tell Archie Manning he couldn't guarantee that he would take his kid first. It's just the stupidest thing. History could have been totally different for us Jets fans, but it's not. And it sucks because Parcells is one of the greatest coaches we've ever had, if not the greatest. So how can you complain? You can't. I hate that prison cell. I hate it. I want to yell. I want to bitch about it, but I can't because Parcells was good. Traded back. Got James Farrier and Dedrick Ward out of that one. That's what I think. The Washington Redskins at the time, they didn't want to trade the 5th overall pick. They didn't want to do it. They probably wanted Ricky Williams or they wanted somebody for their own team. And Ditka just kept dumping shit. No, I'll give you this, I'll give you that. And he got to a deal. You're seriously going to give me the 12 overall, every pick in this draft, plus your 1st and 3rd next year for one guy? They took it. So you want to know how this worked out? 2 years later, the Saints traded Ricky Williams. I think they fired Mike Ditka too. Like, this guy's out of his fucking mind. So that's what they did. This guy's out of his mind. They bought in on name only. They said, hey, man, he's a genius. We're just going to go. Nobody thinks this is smart. Nobody else in the organization bought into that one. I'm sure of it. But they let him do it because he's Mike Ditka. And then we learned right there that Mike Ditka's plumb crazy.